Paltrocast.
Can you hear me, Denzel?
Yes, I can. How you doing there?
I'm fine. Are you fine?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I see a lot of posters back there, some plants. What's happening? Very cool space.
Well, thank you. The wife says that the plants are fine, and we're doing that. But hey, from one Darren to another, because you did play Darren on The Purge. When somebody calls out Darren, do you look?
Uh no, no. I feel like you would look before I would look if we were hanging out.
Well said. Well said. Well, hey, you are a very hard to define individual because child star, director, voiceover and animation work, feature films. Is this where you kind of wanted to be when you first got cast and all that?
Ooh, wow, good question. That's a really good question. You know what, Darren? Very blessed to be doing this, to be honest with you. I kind of tripped and fell into the world of entertainment at the age of 10. I feel like entertainment chose me before I really knew that I wanted to do it.
Hmm.
Uh, but I'm grateful that I discovered it at such a young age. And I'm grateful that, my parents were super supportive. Um, Grateful that I still, am booking work and
Hmm.
naturally, like, when things slowed up over here, that's how I found myself in animation and, coming out of school. I knew I had a passion for arts and I tried going to film school and then that didn't end up working out. So then I dropped out and I picked up a camera and just went on tour with a rock band. And now all of a sudden I'm shooting music videos. And I found myself always fascinated with creation and just expression through the arts. So
Right.
uh, again, it chose me first, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else. It's probably the only thing in the, I'm not going to say the only thing, but it gives me this joy and fulfillment and this satisfaction that, I don't really find in other places. It just feels like my authentic self.
Hmm. Well, before I dig into the angry black girl and her monster, if I did my research correctly, you grew up in Torrance.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Torrance is so fascinating to me because it's sort of on the border of like the Beach Boys, that scene, yet every Japanese company is based around Torrance, so like King's
Yeah,
Hawaiian and all that kind of stuff. It's
yeah.
kind of like LA, but you're in the valley, so you're entertainment industry adjacent. Is that kind of how you fell into entertainment, being like just outside of it?
Wait, hold on. Are you from LA?
I spent a bit of time there, but as a person who does a lot of press trips, I met with a person from Torrance and they gave me the rundown. You go, oh, all that life stuff happened in Torrance.
Yeah, man. Wow, that's extremely spot on. That's better than I think I could have described it. Torrance is, you know what? It felt like an escape from entertainment, to be honest with you, because growing up, my mom would drive me into the city,
Mhm.
which is like 45 minutes to an hour just to get in, just to go to an audition, and then, drive back. Or whether, I had friends in entertainment, on the weekends, I'd maybe only get to see them. Torrance felt like an escape. Torrance feels like a detachment from
Sure.
what you traditionally think of as LA. So a lot of people move out here and they think like, oh man, LA people are weird and blah blah blah. No, LA is so much larger than that. SoCal in general is so much larger, and Torrance is more communal, engineers, everyday life. I definitely grew up by a beach, even though I still don't know how to swim. uh, but I love it down there. So I love that I had that detachment from entertainment.
Makes sense. And next film you do, you'll build that into the prep of the role, learn how to swim, and they have to pay for it. But anyway, uh,
That
yeah,
part.
yeah. Uh, Angry Black Girl and Her Monster, great cast, yourself included. Did you know Bomani? How did you fall into this film? Traditional audition?
Traditional audition, yeah. I didn't know Bomani prior. We met during the callback. I did know Chad, however, beforehand. Chad and I had worked together on two other projects, and then he called me up and he was like, "Hey, man, what do you think about this?" And uh, he, I don't want to take credit, but he asked me what I thought about it. I sung Bomani's praises because I was already signed to the film at the time, and I thought he would have killed it. And they were already approaching him, and I'm
Mhm.
glad we got to work together again. That's my brother.
Yeah, Chad has the distinction of being in two of the greatest shows of all time, The Wire, The Walking Dead. when Chad chooses a role, that must be a lot of pressure on him to go like, is this as good as The Wire or The Walking Dead, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he just wants to do good work. Like all of us. He's been immensely blessed within his career to have so many opportunities, but he's still just as hungry as ever. He loves just in the page and getting in front of a camera. Like he still loves just getting up doing it, and I admire that of him. And the same, like, you know, truthfully, we as black, thespians and auteurs, like we only get so many opportunities. So every time we get an opportunity, we got to swing for the fence.
But he's not the only person with great credits. Now, with you, the animated shows that you've been part of, Black Dynamite, Boondocks, in my opinion, two of the funniest cartoons ever done. But what was your first animation or voiceover role that you got?
First animation. Ooh, now you're making me rethink my whole resume. That is a great question. I think the first animation, and I would need to go do some fact checking, was either Handy Manny or Scooby Doo. Come on, I want to scare you. And that was way prior to Black Dynamite.
Did on Handy Manny, did you get to work with Fred Stoller?
Oh man, now you're challenging my whole history. I got to go back. I was so young, man, when I did all that stuff. I'm grateful to get started young. That was my window in was commercials and voiceover first,
Right.
before doing television and then branching into film.
Yet a funny thing about you is because of your first name and your last name, everyone thinks that you're related to both of those people. So
Sure.
you're the case where you were the false Nepo baby.
Hysterical. Yes. Yes. Very.
You had to put in 3 times the work because everyone was predisposed to go, well, he's related to that guy and he's related to that guy. It's like, nope.
Right. No, not at all. And one of the relations doesn't even make sense. How am I related to Denzel Washington? It makes no sense. The Forrest Whitaker I could draw the comparison to. But no, not related to either. Obviously, they're incredible thespians, they're incredible people. And I'm grateful to have worked with them on Great Debaters too. They were just wonderful, both together and individually.
Sure. Well, 2 quick questions and I'll let you go. And the first one is Angry Black Girl and Her Monster is the new movie. It's new to me. It's old to you. Are you allowed to say what's next or where we'll see you next?
Um, I've worked on some projects last year. And then there's 2 projects in particular, 5150, which I did in 2020, and Brand New, which I just finished, which is something I co-wrote, co-directed, and I'm starring in. And that I'm actually in post right now. So that will be the next project you'll probably immediately see me in. And also, my directing work, you'll probably hear from me as I wait to see where the rest of the projects are. I
Got
shot
it.
some stuff, and now it's kind of like it's in development on its own. We as actors, we show up, and then we show up for the rap party, right?
Yeah, this is not the last question. I'm just out of curiosity. So 5150, I know is a police code, but it's also super associated with the band Van Halen, which is one of my
Mm.
obsessions. Is there anything related to Van Halen at all in 5150?
Not so much related to Van Halen, um, more so the police code. That's where the original Inception came from. But I was aware of the Van Halen comparison. Um, and quite often there's another cultural reference, 5150 as well. I know the hats, I know like Hurricane Chris uses it. There's these weird, distinctions that after we titled the project, they were like, oh man, is it this comparison
Yeah.
to that? It was the
Well,
police
it's
code that
not
really.
just the name of a Van Halen album. Eddie Van
Yeah.
Halen named his studio 5150, as a joke
Oh,
of it being
really?
a psych ward. So
Really?
5150 is still there in Malibu.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
Fun fact. And speaking of
No.
that, last question, Denzel, what's the last concert that you went to for fun?
Ooh, that is a fantastic question. The last concert I went to for fun, um, it wasn't a festival, although I do love the Coachella festivals. What concert did I go to last? I feel like it was a rap concert. Was the Larry June concert? I have to get back on that.
Okay.
I do love Larry June. So that's who I've been listening to a lot lately. It wasn't Coachella because that was pre-pandemic. I know there was a concert I recently went to. I'm drawing a blank on it, but yeah.
Next time when I get you on the brand new junket or the 5150 junket, then we'll find out what the latest concert is. But Denzel, thank you
There
for
we go.
the great work. A pleasure speaking with you, and looking forward to whatever's coming next, whether you're on camera, directing, writing, or all the above.
Thank you, Darren. I appreciate the time. Thank you for the questions. Thank you.
Paltrocast.